Welcome in to another episode of DB's Best Bets, episode 2020. We are in the 20s now, Harrison. This is your host, Daniel Brackett. Joined alongside me is Harrison Clark, my good friend of mine. Harrison, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Rainy day. Could be a rainy week, but that won't stop us this weekend from having a great time in the Queen City. So looking forward to that. And had a great last weekend overall, which we'll get into.
Historic.
Yeah,
Absolutely
made some DB
historic.
best bet history.
There we go. Love to see it. Glad that you're doing well. Excited to have you up to Charlotte here, play a little golf, maybe watch some MLS. Have some beers with the boys. Should be a good weekend all around. So definitely excited to have you up. But let's go ahead and get into last week. And I last show I mentioned how I lost four in a row and then went on a absolutely scorching run. Well, the same thing kind of happened here as I lost the first four plays here in a row, which is just really unfortunate. The Europa Conference League had not been very nice to me this last couple of weeks. So I'm thinking I'm learning my lesson here, and thank God it's almost over. So I don't keep losing coin on it. But we'll go ahead and get right into it. I had PSG -1 and Mbappe anytime goal scorer. PSG, decided to hit the woodwork, I think 6 to 8 times between two legs, and they lost. And pretty sorry performance. They were unlucky, probably the better team as well. So I still feel good about my bet. But unfortunately, sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. And Kylian Mbappe will be leaving PSG, but he will not have a UCL trophy, which was part of the whole project for PSG. Such a shame. When don't really care, but we'll see him in that Madrid white, and I'm sure he will look to, win that Champions League next year for sure. As Real Madrid are absolutely loaded. For the Champions League slate, you had Mbappe to score as well, but you made your coin back with Real Madrid money line here. So congratulations on that absolute sweat of a bet.
Yeah. In regards to PSG, I love how we just shit on Mats Hummels and said he's going to get pummeled this two legs, and he goes on to play unbelievable the first game at Dortmund and then scores a goal in the second leg. So Matt Hummels said up yours to us, and you know, like you said, they had the post God knows how many times. I felt like it was a pretty even two legs, to be honest. PSG definitely could have come out on top if they were able to bury their chances, which they didn't. Full credit to Dortmund. It should be an interesting final. I don't really know what to make of that when it comes, but in regards to the other tie that was going on, Real Madrid,
What a game.
unbelievable game. Told my brother to ride this one, and once Alphonso Davies scored it, it looked quite bleak. And then who else? The guy we all thought was gonna bury the brace, Joselu. Um,
We had it in the script. Anytime goal scorer.
yeah.
Off
I
the
mean,
bench.
yeah. Like we've said, you could throw anybody in there to play striker at any time for Real Madrid, and something good's gonna happen. And it just happens to be Joselu who scores too late, and they did it again. Coming out on top late. I don't know how they keep doing it, but it's just something that you just have to keep taking until it doesn't work anymore. Is Real Madrid in the Champions League? So I'm glad that paid off. That was a crazy one, even considering that we didn't even need extra. I didn't need extra time for that, and especially because I didn't take them to advance. I just took their money line. The fact that they got two that late to even get that winner is pretty insane. So that was a
Absolutely bailed out by the offside as well.
yeah. Well, sometimes you need those, Dan. So I don't know. It was an interesting Champions League slate. I'm looking forward to the final, but I just think that if I was gonna project a little bit, I think Madrid are going to be the far dominant team again in the final, and it should be going back. The title should be going back to Spain.
It's going to be very unfortunate, but Yep, Madrid looked like they're gonna be in line for yet another Champions League trophy. You had some Europa League, or you had a Europa League play that I actually tailed you on. So good call on that one with Atalanta money line. It was always Atalanta.
Always. I mean, they're kind of a wagon at home, which is kind of why that's why I took them in the first place, really. I know that you were thinking about the over, um, but I just felt more confident. I think taking Atalanta against a team that in Marseille that's been a little shaky ever since they were hot immediately after the new hiring of the head coach. So yeah, that was nice. 3-0 ended up not being a sweat at all, and they're on to the Europa League final, which should be an interesting one for sure.
Against Bayer Leverkusen, didn't have it, but Bayer Leverkusen went down 2-0. And then again, for the umpteenth time, I don't know how many in counting, but they come back and they score a game tire in stoppage time to keep their unbeaten streak alive to 5-0. With only 3 games left. So just pretty remarkable stuff from them. And then Europa Conference League, I was really thinking Villa would bounce back here with money line in the over at 3. Neither hit. I was thinking I'd either get one or the other, or best case scenario, I get 2, and both lost. So worst case scenario happened there. Olympiacos win 6-2 on aggregate to a good Villa side, and generally could not really believe it, to be honest. So tough loss. Olympiacos will be hosting the Europa Conference League final
Just like we all thought.
in wherever Olympiacos is from in Greece.
Greece.
It's I don't know what the city is. It might be Athens if I had to guess. Um, Against Fiorentina, who got past Club Brugge, and then going into the weekend here, I tailed you on the Stuttgart money line, both hit. Congratulations on that. That was a good call up by you. Just keep taking the Stuttgart wagon, and we just keep winning coin here. So not really much to say, but one of our favorite teams to bet on this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're looking for things that might separate teams from others, and uh, I've always felt that Stuttgart have some motivation to finish over Bayern, and they're definitely making their case to do that. Garassi scores another goal. Guy's been an absolute sicko this year, for a team that is performing well above expectations. So um, happy to keep riding the Stuttgart train. I hate that the season's ending because we don't know exactly what we're going to get next year with them, considering that Garassi and Undov have had the years they have. You don't know if they're going to be back next year, but for as long as we've been able to ride it, I've enjoyed taking Stuttgart.
Yeah, it's been one of the better stories as well. To keep it in the Bundesliga, I had Frankfurt Gladbach over 3. Thought this was been tailing this Gladbach over trend quite a bit here, and 1-1 at half. Felt really good about it, at least to get to a push, and then completely iced in the second half to lose that one. So that was a tough loss. But made my coin back with a thank God, because Hoffenheim Darmstadt over 3.5 cashed at any number. Hoffenheim absolutely just destroy Darmstadt. Can't remember if it was 5-0 or 6-0 at one point. Cannot
5-0 at
remember.
half.
5-0 at half. It was just destruction. So Darmstadt, have fun in the Bundesliga too. I will miss fading you every single week, but glad to get my coin back in the Bundesliga. But we'll go ahead and go to the Premier League. You backed West Ham money line. I had the over against Luton, and both cashed for us as West Ham beat down on Luton.
Yeah, it was a hairy start, for sure. Luton scoring 6 minutes in, didn't love that. Following in real time from the Wells Fargo Championship. But it was a second half barrage from West Ham, and they kind of enforced their will. Last home game of the season. They wanted to leave the fans on a good note going into next season. Of course, with the uncertainty of Moyes and everything around the team, you figured that they would turn it around at some point, and they were able to back 3 in the second half, which was massive. And detrimental for Luton, which is upsetting. Because we've been fans of taking their stuff over the year, but for West Ham, I felt like this was a good spot for him, and I'm glad they were to pull this one out.
It was really good to cash one more Luton over when you
Oh yeah,
can. You know,
yeah,
if that felt
yeah.
good. And shout out to Georgie Earthy, the 20-year-old Academy West Ham kid who netted that third goal for West Ham to cash my over. Nice little tap in for the kid. So very happy about that. Came from some unlikely goal scorers with George Earthy, Thomas Suchek, and James Ward-Prowse, the two CDMs, and then the Academy kid coming off the bench. So
Who else?
definitely very interesting. No Mikel Antonio, Jared Bowen, those the usual suspects here. But any guy who puts in a goal is good with me, especially to cash an over like that. We both also took Forest Chelsea over 3. Absolute 5-goal thriller there. Chelsea ending up getting the win here late. I think was Raheem Sterling with the winner, I believe. But that was
Yeah,
also a really fun game.
yeah, Sterling with the late equalizer, and then
Equalizer.
and
Nico
then
Jackson with the
couple
winner, right?
minutes later, Nico Jackson is scoring goals every game now. So yeah, that was in terms of this season for Chelsea, an enormous win. Able to pull out 3 points, especially when Newcastle end up tying Brighton, puts Chelsea officially over Newcastle, and in pole position to potentially get the 6th spot. So that was enormous. Huge game, obviously, tomorrow against Brighton. But for the over, yeah, Chelsea didn't play their best game. I don't think it started quick with Mudryk, but then I thought Forrest played a decent game. Scored on a set piece shortly after. Looked pretty good at 1-1, and then it took a little while for us to get the third, until Chelsea legend Callum Hudson-Odoi scored the goal, which you kind of just figure he's probably going to do that against us. So
Can't let him cut
um,
in. He cuts in right every single game and scores, and it's just unbelievable how people let him cut in still. He does. He's done it like 3 weeks in a row now, and it's just
yeah,
automatic.
he scored some bangers with his right foot this year, just curling to the back post, which is exactly how he beat Petrovic. And then, yeah, like I said, Chelsea turned on the screws and were able to win it late. Nice getting Reece James back in there. That's massive.
Nice little
At least
assist for
getting,
the kid.
yeah, came on the field and immediately got an assist for Nicholas Jackson. So the over ended up not being a sweat, even though I would say maybe the first 60, it was a little like maybe we'll get a push here. I don't really know what we're gonna get. So um, yeah, for sure, a great game for Chelsea.
No doubt. You also had Manchester City -2. Nice W for you.
Yeah, Vardiol is a goal scoring machine all of a sudden, which I like.
5 goals
It's
in 2
just
and 7 apps. What
yeah,
on earth?
I don't know what they're feeding him right now, but it's insane what he's doing. He's basically taking Nathan Ake's position all of a sudden, which is kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, this one ended up being a 4-0 City win. No real sweat here. Fulham just didn't really stand a chance with a team like City, who's as determined as ever again to win their 4th straight title. Um, there was a red card late, didn't really make a difference. It was already 3-0 at that point, and then they bagged the penalty to make it 4. Um, so yeah, again, City down the stretch, you blindly take their spreads at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you followed it up with Arsenal team total over 2.5 and Kai Havertz anytime goal scorer. Unfortunate 2 L's for you. We both thought that Arsenal were to come out of the gates hot here and against a very bad United side, but they looked a little cagey in this match, and they could probably feel the jitters of the pressure of the season kind of coming to an end.
Yeah, I would say that was definitely a part of it.
Onana too made some good saves.
He did make some good saves. I felt like Arsenal couldn't really find their game. It took them a while, I would say, and I thought Man U defensively actually played decent. Like even though they were playing with a makeshift center back in Casemiro, who did make the mistake on the lone goal in the game, leaving Trossard wide open in the middle, which is where I wish I had the Kai Havertz goal or assist, but I got a little greedy there. So um, overall, a 1-0 Arsenal win. I had them in multiple parlays, so I'll take that. But I think we just both thought that they were going to come out and beat the crap out of United, which with their recent form, and that ended up not being the case.
I can agree more, and didn't see that you had a Bundesliga play here. Mine's Pick'em. Absolute sharp. You just keep riding this Mainz team, and they absolutely demolish Dortmund.
Yeah, this was over quick. I said it that I was going to take the pick'em. You can change that to money line because I ended up taking the money line in this game. I felt so confident in it. I kept telling you they're going to win this game, and it was 3-0 by the 23rd minute. So I couldn't really believe how quickly mine just took over that game, and it was over before you knew it. I love the line. That's why I kept saying it. It just with Dortmund, this team's going to the Champions League final, and a team close to relegation of Mainz is a huge favorite, and it moved from plus money to minus money. Like
I saw that and I was
it's
like, oh
screaming.
no.
It's screaming for the public to take Dortmund, and I loved mine so much. So yeah, this was probably my favorite one of the weekend. I think it was free from the get go.
Absolutely. And then we moved to you blindly telling me in the MLS, which went very well for us once again. MLS Dan back at it. Orlando Philly over 2.5. An absolute thriller of a game that flew over thanks to Luis Mariel with a nice brace, an absolute banger as one of those goals as well. Miami Montreal over 3, easy cash. I think it was ended 3-2 here. Messi didn't even have to score an assist in this one. Kramashi, Rojas and
banger.
Rojas free kick banger from deep too, deep.
Yeah.
And then Suarez got in the end of a nice little cross there on a corner. How he's left open in the box, I don't know, but it is what it is. RSL Galaxy over 3 was a nice W 2-2 game. RSL went up 2-0, and I was thinking Galaxy were going to win this one. The game was wide open the whole match, but Galaxy were able to answer in the second half and tied this game up to draw 2-2. And then LAFC Vancouver over 3 was a push because LAFC did their part scoring 3 goals. We just needed a garbage time from Vancouver, and they offered little to nothing in the attack. But a push, get your money back is not the worst thing in the world. So Harrison, you did an historic 9-3 in one weekend. I was 7-5 in one. The boys are officially both over 500. I am at 58, 55, and 5. Harrison, you are at 55, 53, and 9. So we are absolutely hunting here. We are excited. And we have the last weekend of European football, and we're going to end with a bang here. But we'll go ahead. There's some midweek action here that we're going to cover first, and then we'll cover the weekend. Starting with the MLS slate, Timbers, San Jose over 3. Both of these teams, the over has flown over in the 4 out of 5 of their last games. Two of the best over teams in the MLS. So we're going to go ahead and pencil us in for that.
Rumor has it this is a MLS Dan nuke job that could be going on tomorrow night.
This could be a lofty wager. We're going to have to see the lineups, but I feel very comfortable with where I'm at right now with this over 3 safe number. So I'm going to take this over 3 now. Already took it, and then could add more on top once the lineups drop. Now, you will not be telling me in this, but that's okay because this is more of a heart play for me. Charlotte plus a half on the road against Chicago. Chicago are abysmal. Charlotte FC, if they want to stay at like top 6 in the Eastern Conference, they need a win here on the road as they host LA Galaxy this weekend. And I feel pretty comfortable with Charlotte plus a half point. You could even get them pick them at plus odds, but I'm going to stick with plus a half, a little bit safer. I'm hoping for a draw or better, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. Now, we have Orlando, Miami over 3, and the big if is if Messi plays. This will be an official play for both of us. We don't know if Messi will be rotated in this game or the next, so we'll have to see the lineups. But I think Orlando, if Messi doesn't play, could win this game outright, and we could still cover the over because they are just terrible defensively. And then you are riding with me on the DC United New York Red Bulls over 3. Both these teams love scoring a goal. DC, did pretty well against Atlanta, which we talked about on our episode with Charlotte Soccer Show. So go check that out on our YouTube or their YouTube if you want to catch up on the weekend's action. But I like this game a lot. I think this will be a fun game. And I feel pretty comfortable at a nice number at 3. Safe number.
Hop on the back of Christian Benteke.
A hat trick of headers. Absolutely sublime. Now, you have a midweek play here. United in Newcastle over 3.5. Talk us through that. And I like this one, by the way.
This is a really, I mean, table-wise, it's a really big game, which makes me a little hesitant. But at the same time, I can't see United defending the way they did against Arsenal 2 games in a row. Like, you're asking a lot, I feel like, from Johnny Evans and Casemiro to, try to hold down the fort against two teams in a row that have strong attacking power. I mean, Alexander Isak's been on an absolute bean this year. I don't know. He's been excellent for Newcastle.
He's been very good. Anthony Gordon as well.
Him as well. Yep. So I feel like the floodgates could open here, and Newcastle haven't kept a clean sheet in 4 straight games. So I like that as well. That they're very likely to allow some sort of something, I would say. I would guess that Newcastle probably comes out on top here, but at the same time, I don't really know what I'm going to get with this game, but I feel like there will be goals. So I'm fine with taking the over against 2 pretty shaky defenses.
I mean, you also have Chelsea money line. Is that for the Brighton game or the one this weekend?
The Brighton game. This is purely, I don't want to say it's hard, but we're backing a steaming hot Chelsea team all of a sudden. Brighton aren't playing for anything, but they are good defensively. So it could be tough for Chelsea to get through, which is why I'm not taking the over. Brighton's been good with unders this year. But I'm just backing a team that's playing for a whole lot right now, all of a sudden, and a team that's, fighting for their manager's jobs. Plenty of them that have come out and said that they want to keep Pochettino for next season, even though it's still up in the air, so we'll see. But a strong finish to the season here from Chelsea, getting into European soccer next year, that probably keeps Pochettino around, I would say. And I think the players realize that. So, they realize that if they win out, they'll be playing whatever Conference League football next year, which is still massive considering where they were a couple months ago. So I'm going to back them here. I think it's plus 105. Just more motivation, I think.
I will not be telling you with that, but I understand your thinking here. Chelsea are definitely the hotter team at the moment. And so if this was at the Bridge, you could bet your ass that I'd be betting on Chelsea. But I think I'm going to sit this one out and let my Chelsea friends really sweat this one out for me. Now, I do have some Coppa Italia. The final is on Wednesday on Paramount Plus, Atalanta versus Juventus. And I will be taking Atalanta to hoist the trophy. I think that Juventus are terrible. They are so bad. They're so bad. I think they lost to Salernitana this weekend, one of the worst teams in Serie A. Atalanta are scorching hot, like you mentioned, in the Europa League final, as well as the Coppa Italia. They could do a nice little double here, which would be very historic. So I think Gasperini is going to be highly motivated. Charles de Ketelaere is back. He's hot, scored 2 goals this weekend. Scamacca has just been banging in goals. And then you got Coop Miners as well. I mean, you got the front 3. Even Lookman is getting in on the action. So I'm liking this a lot. You could even do draw no bet for the 90 at plus odds, I believe. So I'm going to back Atalanta here, and I think they'll be able to get the W fairly easily, hopefully, and no sweat here. And then when it comes to the weekend, you are going to go back to the well here with Mine's Pick'em. Talk us through that.
Why not? Just
There's
keep.
something special.
There's something going on at Mines right now, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's really special. And I'm enjoying what I'm seeing over at Mines. Uh, their money line is plus money. I'm not going to take that on the road. I honestly, I'm fine with laying the minus 150 with their pick'em, with the kind of form they're in. Again, it says something that this team, even though they're hot, which makes sense. I mean, Wolfsburg is still much higher in the table at home, and Mainz is still a decent sized favorite. So I will continue to back my boys over at Mainz. All of a sudden, they're doing something glorious going on over there. So I can't not take them. I gotta finish off the season with the boys. So
And they're very much not safe. So this game
I know.
means they're 2 points from Union Berlin. Union Berlin play Freiburg, which is a tough game, but Freiburg really have nothing to play for, so they could easily get the win. And then Bochum as well are kind of in that mix. So Wolfsburg are safe. They have nothing to play for, but Mainz have everything to play for. So I love it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, even more motivation. Part of me was thinking with that logic with the table, but like at the same time, just give me the steaming hot mind squad.
Gotta ride the hot team. Can't fault you for that. When it comes to Bundesliga action, I have Stuttgart Gladbach over 3.5. Riding the Gladbach trend as well as the Stuttgart trend. Stuttgart are still motivated. Gladbach have nothing to play for. And I think we could see a little bit of a riot here with Stuttgart just running away with it on the final match day of the season to end their beautiful season on a high note. So I feel pretty comfortable taking over 3.5 here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when you got dudes like Stuttgart, like Garassi and Undov, I mean, against a team like Mönchengladbach, who have been super susceptible to goals recently, I don't blame you here.
Absolutely, and we'll go to some Premier League ball on Sunday. I'm gonna start the slate off with Palace money line. You are taking it as well, but I'm also going to take the over against Villa over 3.5. Villa have shown that they can score a lot of goals. Palace have been in dazzling form as of late, so I feel really comfortable with taking Palace and the over here.
Yeah, I think Palace finishes the year strong. Like, I mean, they've just been one of the hottest teams already, but there's no reason not to, put all your eggs in the basket and finish off the year right at home against a team like Villa, who now I believe with Tottenham's loss have officially clinched Champions League for next year, which is great for them. But also I think it's, a moment where they can breathe and, maybe not play up to what their standards necessarily would be. And it gives a team high flying like Crystal Palace to, step on their throats, I feel like, in this one. They're already a favorite. They're already minus 120, which I love. And the form of Mateta, Elise, and Eze, it's hard again not to want to bet on those guys.
No doubt. And then we also both took Chelsea versus Bournemouth money or over 3.5. Chelsea do play on Wednesday, but they're still going to be playing for pride here this weekend as well. And Bournemouth with Solanke leading the line have just been a really fun team to watch. I think with how bad your back line is, this could, unlike the Brighton game, this could produce a lot of goals.
Yeah, this one's going to be a feisty one, I think, on the last day. Again, probably going to be a must-win scenario for Chelsea. And I think Bournemouth, I think they'll be trying to play heavy on the counter with Solanke, which could open things up maybe at some points. So we'll see. But again, Chelsea's recent goal scoring form, you don't really know what you're going to get from the back line of Chelsea. I mean, we just let in 2 to Forest. Like, don't love that. And Solanke is far better than any of the players that Forest have, which scares me. But, Chelsea overs recently have been super profitable. So.
Absolutely. And you have Arsenal. You're going to back the Gunners here on the final day against kind of a hot Everton team at 2.5, a lofty number. Talk us through that.
I think this is just purely them
at the Emirates as well.
Yeah, I think this is purely them trying to put all the pressure on Man City. And I know it's going on at the same time, but the coaches get the updates, so it's not like they don't know what the hell's going on. But I think they're going to want to beat the crap out of Everton, and I can definitely see it with how United were able to stop them last week. I feel like this could be a big breakout spot, and I'm playing this up. Like, this is -2.5. I'm playing this at almost plus 150. Like, I think this could be an absolute trouncing. And I know Everton have played solid recently, but I just feel like in this spot, like, Arsenal are going to finish the season with an absolute bang. So I'm going to trust my gut here and take them at a bigger spread even than what's listed.
Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts on West Ham City over 4. City are going to want to go for it at home.
I don't think West Ham's going to score. I just don't like. They scored 3 this week, but they scored against Luton. Like, I don't think they have the firepower to. Like, I know City can be leaky at times, but I just don't like. I don't see West Ham really posing a threat at all. So I think you're asking for City to kill them, which they very well could. I mean, they could leave it all out there just like Arsenal. But
I'm taking City -2.5. With that logic that you had, I'm going to go ahead and take City -2.5 here and feel safe.
I very likely will end up on Sunday probably taking that as well. Like, I just think that both these teams, like, obviously they both have to win to have a chance, but I think they're just far better than the teams they are playing this weekend, which helps even more. And I could see both of them just blowing each other out. But of course, it would lead to a 4th title in a row for City.
No doubt. And then we're both taking the DC Miami over 3 game. That will be a really fun game on Saturday night. Pending if Messi plays, we will both be tailing that. And then I'm going to finish off the tests versus Ajax over 3.5. Ajax averaged more than 2 goals a game. Very leaky in defense. Last weekend in the Eredivisie, I've been on Ajax overs almost all season, and I wanted to end the season with Ajax on my card. So Ajax Vitesse over 3.5. Let's go ahead and lock that in.
Got to get some Netherlands plays in here, man.
Got to. PSV was also an absolute wagon this year, but they have nothing to play for at this point, so no point in taking them. But we'll go ahead and recap. I have Timber San Jose over 3, Charlotte +0.5, Orlando Miami over 3 if Messi plays, DC New York Red Bulls over 3, Atalanta to hoist the trophy, Stuttgart Gladbach over 3.5, Palace moneyline, Palace Villa over 3.5, Chelsea Cherries over 3.5, City -2.5, DC Miami over 3 if Messi plays, Vitesse Ajax over 3.5. Harrison, what do you have?
Timber San Jose over 3, DC New York Red Bulls over 3, Orlando Miami pending Messi over 3, United Newcastle over 3.5, Chelsea over Brighton, mine's draw no bet, Arsenal -2.5, Crystal Palace moneyline, Chelsea Bournemouth over 3.5, and then DC Miami over 3 pending Messi as well.
All right, let's keep this these big cards and these winning ways. Let's finish out the season strong here, and let us know if you tail on X at Full-Time Roundup. Go check out our episode that we dropped last night, and best of luck, Harrison.